All right, Gravity Falls season 2 is finally here, basically a year after the previous season ended. So, I don't, I didn't take note of the name of this episode, but basically, zombies is the basic idea with this whole episode. Dipper raises the dead, basically, just to demonstrate to these two agents that supernatural stuff exists in Gravity Falls, and yeah, it's basically sort of picking up where the previous season left off with Stan. It's finally seeing that room behind the vending machine, and they oddly enough they don't really explain exactly what Stan's doing down there, or what his plan is or anything. We just sort of see it really. So yeah, kind of disappointing really. They end the previous season on that note, and they didn't really sort of explain what he's doing there. We just sort of see it and everything. There is a big sort of revolution with Stan though that he finally does admit to Dipper that he knew about all of this stuff. And kind of a cliche of kids' stories that he lied to protect them or something. So I'm worried that the kids are going to find out about this weird and dangerous stuff, and it's going to put them in danger. So I'm just going to pretend it doesn't exist. Yeah, I never like that. It always seems like kind of a retarded kind of plan. And the little speech he has to them at the end, stay away from this stuff. I'll let you have the journal, but tread lightly and be careful and everything. Why didn't he just say that to them in the first place? Oh God, it's such a retarded kind of idea. But eventually he confesses to them, so at least that sort of bit is over and done with now. It was kind of weird actually watching the first 3 or 4 minutes. Really, it was mostly just sort of setting things up and everything, and getting us up to speed as to where we were. They are literally picking up where the previous season left off, which seems kind of weird to me since it's been a year since I watched any new stuff from this show, and yet no time has passed in the actual show. But it was kind of weird. I was sort of thinking to myself, this doesn't seem like Gravity Falls. I'm not really laughing enough. And then Zeus comes in with that drill, and I'm like, that's Gravity Falls. And from then on, I was just laughing my ass off. That's the sort of key thing I sort of always look for in this show. Is I just laugh so much at absolutely everything that happens. They seem to have upgraded Mabel's sweaters. Now they're sort of interactive. When Grenda says a boombox T-shirt, you think she's just thinking, a sweater with a boombox on it. But no, it actually works as a boombox. That is brilliant. I love that. Zeus becomes a zombie but stays in character. I've never seen anything like you see zombie stories all the time where characters become zombies, but to stay in character, but still be a zombie, that's really clever. I have not seen that before in any kind of show. That's really good. Wendy sort of just comes back again. I was kind of annoyed at the end of the first season. We see her break up with Robbie, and then they don't really sort of follow up to sort of just show that she's all right. She's just sort of there a couple of times in the last couple of episodes, and they don't appear to have sort of followed up on it in any kind of way. She's just sort of hanging out with Dipper. It's nice to see that the two of them are okay and everything. They're still friends and all, but they don't seem to be sort of following up on Wendy breaking up. Maybe it'll come back later on. Who knows? Another clever thing, another thing I really like about the show is there's little sort of subtle sort of setups of things that they're not made sort of prominent or made to look like they're setting things up for later, but they then become relevant or important later. And a really clever one you see in this episode is just the guy who takes his shirt off, and then a friend of his takes a picture on their cell phone. And you think it's just a quick throwaway gag, but it actually becomes relevant a little later because it's what distracts Wendy when Dipper's looking through Stan's stuff. And also you see those sort of little knuckle rings that Stan uses to fight the zombies later. You actually see that in one of his drawers when Dipper's searching around. So yeah, a couple of sort of little clever setups. Another quite obvious one, I suppose, with the zombie. I kind of spotted that actually when I was watching it for the first time. It's like Mabel actually says to him, you're not going to raise the dead, are you? And I'm like, if it's going to raise the dead, that's blatantly what's going to happen later. He actually shows the page that becomes important. The invisible ink, though, was pretty clever. I like the way the invisible on the invisible ink picture in the book is he's actually in invisible ink. That's quite clever. You wouldn't notice that without the invisible ink being there. So yeah, that's kind of a clever sort of plot device as well, because you think by this point Dipper's read all of the journal and everything, and you think there's nothing left to look up, but now there's invisible ink. There's a whole new bunch of stuff that you can look up and find out about, and that just opens up new sort of possibilities. So I'm sort of thinking maybe in season 3, Dipper's going to discover the other 2 journals, and season 3 is going to be about what's in them, perhaps. Yeah, but again, still haven't really explained exactly what Stan is doing. I'm guessing that's something they're going to build up to, and maybe like the series finale is going to be about what the hell he's doing there, really, or something. It's just going to be little sort of baby steps towards whatever it is that Stan's actually doing there. Trying to think, what else did I take? Oh, well, the karaoke, again, just sort of hilarious little... the kind of really sort of clever thing about this show, it can combine slice of life with sort of supernatural adventure type stuff. And the karaoke to defeat the zombies, a very good example of that kind of stuff. Mabel didn't have as many sort of Mabel type lines as normal. I think the Carrie and then Dipper not saying anything, and then later Mabel and someone screams. That was very sort of Mabel. That, sort of not being properly sort of aware of the peril nature of the situation. Always being very sort of positive about everything, even when things are, kind of dangerous. Very sort of Mabel. But no, there wasn't a huge amount of sort of Mabel type stuff. This wasn't really sort of a Mabel episode. This was more about Dipper. Old Man McGucket was in it, but he didn't have any lines. That kind of disappointed me, because I always enjoy him. And sometimes when you see that in animated shows, it's just maybe because they didn't get the voice actor in for that particular episode. But Alex Hirsch voices Old Man McGucket, so that can't be it. So no, I was disappointed he didn't have any lines. The police officers are there. They didn't really make me laugh as much as they have done in the past. They just have that one line of "we want it." And, I could have predicted that, really. Those characters by this point, that's what they're like. So yeah, I got a decent amount of laughs out of it, but there were a couple of times when I thought to myself, that it could have made me laugh a little bit more. And, this whole motivation Stan has for lying about, what's going on in Gravity Falls and everything, that just seems like such a retarded kind of idea. But, the zombies, Zeus, a zombie but still Zeus, and the way that they're defeated, that to me was the absolute icing on the cake for this episode. It didn't, blow me away or anything. I didn't absolutely love it or think it was an absolutely fantastic kind of episode, but it made me laugh at a decent amount, and I'm kind of interested where they're going to go with this invisible ink in the journal, if that's going to become an important thing. I'm guessing that page we see right at the end of the episode, that's going to become relevant later on in some kind of way. I'll have to go back and look at that page, see what we've got there. I noticed, the numbers they have at the end of the episodes, that those are still there, but now they're pages of the journal, it seems. I don't really pay attention to what they mean or what they are exactly. I don't really look deeply into that, but again, the numbers are there, for people who want to investigate and find out what those are about. It's not something that interests me, to be honest. But yeah, it was decent enough. It certainly made me laugh as much as Gravity Falls typically does. Probably not going to be a personal favourite of mine or anything, though, but a fun enough episode, and it has me excited now that I'm going to be able to watch the show as it's on rather than having to catch up now. So yeah, that is Gravity Falls Season 2 is off to a pretty good start.